Hi again, hand readers. There are different ways to interpret fingerprint patterns in the hands. In the context of the 5-element system that I'm most steeped in, we define 6 different patterns plus an extra category of variants or accidentals. And today I'm going to be talking about the arch dermatoglyphic on people's thumbs. My name's Jennifer. I'm based in Johannesburg. I've been reading hands for many years, and welcome to my channel. The strength of the thumb validates or invalidates the rest of the hand, and the tip is governed by fire in the 5-element system. Now, the arch tip is governed by earth, so we're essentially adding earth to fire, or we're mixing earth and fire. And when you do that, if you think of what happens in nature when you mix together earth and fire, there's a forging and a hardening and a firming effect. So the arch, therefore, is a strengthening factor for a thumb. Of our thumbs represent the way we express ourselves in the world, in a sense, the way we do things, the way we render our traits into the world, and the application of our will, and the assertion and the purposeful direction, and the ways in which we express it. And the glyph will modify the way that happens. Glyphs show our fundamental psychological predisposition underlying the intention of our will. So there's something about a backdrop that the glyphs offer. I call them glyphs as a short form of the word dermatoglyphic. Now, arches are earth-governed, and as you'll see in my YouTube thumbnail, they're represented by, or rather, earth is represented by a square, and the color ascribed is orange. The arch fingerprint pattern has a sturdy look, as you can see in this image. It has ridges that flow from one side of the tip of the digit to the other. In other words, there's no recurve of the skin ridge pattern. They just simply flow like a little hill. And this pattern is also called a common arch or a simple arch. It is the only glyph that doesn't have a triradius, and I'll explain what a triradius is in another video. The very image itself evokes the sense of sturdiness, of steadiness, of simplicity, of dependability, and these are fundamental traits that, or rather characteristics, that we then transpose onto a person, and we can see that they, by virtue of their arch dermatoglyphic, already have some earth traits in there. What might an arch on a thumb tell us about a person, or how could we best support the person with arches on their thumbs? And let's break it down a little bit into the physical, the emotional, the vocational, the mental, and the spiritual. That is actually the context in which, in the 5-element system, we really read our people's hands. And here we have a person that we could validate perhaps for their sensuality. They have a good sense of touch. They like to aspire to financial security, so a counseling and coaching theme for them might be around money. That is very possible. This marker for them would increase unpretentiousness, so physical appearance and so on would not be like a high criteria for them. On an emotional level, these people are kind and nurturing. They have a great deal of love for their families. They may also be stubborn. Of course, earth slows things down, so there might be a disinclination to self-excavate, to really self-enquire. They are sincere people. These people have got some integrity, and there's a lack of complications. So these are not likely to be people that do a whole lot of neurotic self-enquiry, as I said. They might be a little shy, and a counseling theme for these people might be around the topic of betrayal. On a vocational level, arches aspect the hard worker, the person with dogged adherence to the task at hand. They are determined, they're capable, practical, they're persistent, and they might hate the pressure of deadlines, but they can be relied upon. These people might prefer to use their hands to make a living, and they might have green fingers, and they like to be useful, so there'll be some element of service orientation. And a counseling theme in this instance could conceivably be around perhaps they feel overworked, underemployed, or they're being used and abused in some way. In other words, about their career. How happy are they? How creative are they feeling in their career? On the mental level, which is the air level of the earth marker, the arch is governed by earth, and the mental level is governed by air, so it's an overlay. It's the way we break it down in the 5-element system. And this is a person who is very practical in the way they're very commonsensical, let's say, in the way they think about things. So there's a realism, there's a cautiousness. They would have a dislike, a distaste for abstract thought, and quite pragmatic. I would say vagueness would frustrate them. They have seriousness of mind, which interestingly gives them some aptitude for academia. I have a daughter with 6 arches, and she loves studying. They like the structure, they like the discipline, they like the sobriety of it, and the conservatism, in a sense, of it. people with arches on fingers and thumbs often have good concentration. And a counseling theme in this instance might be around their furtherance. Is there something that they could still study? And then lastly, on a spiritual level, you'll find people with arches on thumbs have a conservative approach for the most part to the way they worship, to the way that they pray. Their religious values will be simple, traditional. They would fear loss of personal integrity. That would be very important for them. Of course, the spiritual level, the spiritual realm in palmistry, or rather in chirology, pertains very much also to the quality of our intuition. And for people with arches, it's more of a gut feel. The gut, the digestive tract, is also governed by earth. So we could say that sense of the gut feel around when it'll rain or when the dog will give birth to the babies, to the puppies, is something that we feel, that the earth people really feels and senses in a non-intellectual way. They feel it in their gut. So everybody has intuition. Earthy people also have their brand of intuition. These are not the true psychics, but they sense things on a gut level. People with arches on their thumbs have innate wisdom. A counseling theme for them could conceivably be around their religious life, their upbringing, what was shoved down their throat, what was their conditioning. Do they have disillusion? Do they have guilt? In next week's video, I'll present a little bit about what it might mean when we have loops on our thumbs. That's the second of the glyphs. The glyphs are also categorized from earth to water to fire to air, the 4 basic patterns and the element governorship. And loops are governed by water. Of course, as I've said today, earth governs the arch pattern. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, share with your friends. I'll see you next week.